Hey, I'm Nicole. Welcome back to my channel, where today I'm going to be embarking on a little summer wardrobe glow up project on these leather sandals, that way around. I have a little collection of these leather sandals. They're called Chappals and they are a sort of Indian type sandal. In fact, I did buy them from an India supplier. The leather has all of these little cutouts and holes and things, which I think lend themselves really well to having yarns and beads and all sorts of stuff woven into them. What I'm going to do is paint them. I'm going to start off with a really simple glow up. I always hesitate when I say things like that because these projects sometimes spiral into something bigger than I had first imagined. But we are going to start off with just painting them. I got myself some leather acrylic paints recently. I got a selection which I thought would be really fun to play with on these sandals. So let's get into the paint box and let's choose some colors that we are going to paint the sandals in. I have linked the exact paints that I got here in the video description in case you would like to check it out, although let me test them first before I definitely recommend them. We will get this to the cutting table shortly and I will show you all the colors. I chose a selection that had really lovely bright colors because I really wanted to go for a very vibrant palette. Loving that pink. I think this pink has got to feature, and I'm thinking very specifically about painting these particular sandals to match this particular dress. I do have other pairs of Chappals that I can play around with other colorways with, but for today I would love to wear a pair of those sandals with this dress. Here are the sandals and here is the gorgeous array of paints that we have to play with. Let's not forget that we also have some metal leaf foils in all of these really beautiful colors as well that we can use. I have gold, I have purple, I have royal blue, and I have my absolute favorite, which is this chartreusey color. I had done another sandal glow up using these metal foils, which you can also find on my channel. And I thought it might be quite fun to play around with a little mix of metal foils as well as paint. So maybe there's certain elements of the sandal where we want to have a little bit of a shiny gold finish rather than just a painted finish. For example, here on these little circles here, we might want to do those in a little metal foil. And then the rest of the main leather of the sandals, we can just paint in different colors. I think that might be quite a fun little thing to play with. As far as the main colors we're going to go with, so we have the base of the sandal that we can paint. We've got this sort of T-shaped strap, and then we have a little toe strap here. So we do have a few different elements that we can paint in different colors. For this first sandal glow up, I think we keep it fairly simple. I think we choose one color for the base, one color for the strap, and then maybe another color for the toe strap or the same color. So maximum 3 colors, I'm thinking. I would like to have a little bit of a contrast with the colors so they're not all pitched at the same level of intensity. Let's go for this lighter blue for the base, and then we will build up the other colors from there. And so let's begin. I'm going to start by just giving the sandals a little bit of a clean with just some humble nail polish remover. I've just got a little cleaning cloth and I'm just going to wipe the sandals down just to remove any dirt or grease or anything, because they have just been in a storage tub in my studio for some years now. I should do a little bit of filming for Instagram. I have a little camera set up here. It is a bit of a process at the moment. I'm going to do a bit of duplicate filming because obviously for YouTube I film horizontally, for Instagram I film vertically, and sometimes when you crop the horizontal footage into a vertical format it looks a bit too zoomed in. A bit painful sometimes, but worth it in the end when you're able to just cover all bases. And also the good thing with doing shoe embellishments is that you have 2 sides to do. So sometimes I'll film one side for YouTube and then I'll film the other side for Instagram. So yeah, that's kind of handy in a way. Let's get ready to do the painting on the sole of the sandal. Just giving the paint a little shake because it looks like it has just settled and separated a little bit. And then I'm just going to use this flathead paintbrush. Let me just say, this is as much an experiment for me as it is for you. I've never actually painted a leather shoe before. I've obviously done the gold foils and everything, but I've never actually painted. So let's see how it goes. I don't know if I need to add any prepping, like a primer to it actually. Didn't think about that. Let me see. I think this set of paints might have come with a primer. Let me just check. Oh, it came with a acrylic paint finisher, not a primer. So I think let's just go for it. How bad can it look, right? So let's just get right in there. Look at that color. It's quite lush, isn't it? Ooh, I'm liking already. Liking already. Look. Instagram look. I do like this blue. That was a good call, Nicole. That was a good call. And I did actually treat myself to a new pack of paintbrushes because I was just using some of my daughter's old ones and they weren't very good. So I did invest in a new set of paintbrushes and it is paying dividends, I have to say. She's gliding on like nobody's business. All right, so let me just go ahead and finish painting the whole sole. It might need 2 coats actually, just so it doesn't look too uneven in places. That is what we're looking like after the first coat on the first sole. Oh my gosh, look at that color. Oh, this is going to be so lit. I can't believe I waited this long to do this. I think the trickiest thing on this job will be what to do about the sides here. You can see I wasn't especially neat with the blue, but we can go over that with a different color at the end. Yeah, I think that'll just be the trickiest thing, is just getting everything to look really neat. But anyway, let's go ahead and put the first coat of blue on the other side of the sandal. Okay, I've got the second side painted now, and I realize I'm being very trusting with myself, not to paint my dress. I'm just wondering if we do need a second coat. Seems like the paint does dry fairly quickly. I'm just going to do a quick second coat, I think, because the sole probably, mind you, so much of the sole is covered, isn't it? Maybe just around the edges. I'll just give it a quick second coat and then we will move on to the top. Okay, I think we are done with the blue. I've done 2 coats and this is what we are looking like. Now that the base is blue, it's much clearer to see what direction we go in with the other colours. And I feel like that is a little metaphor for life as well. Sometimes you really can't see what the next step is until you just start going on the road, right? You just got to start the journey. You just got to do the thing and then the way will appear. So it's not always easy to see from the outset where things are going to go or how things are going to develop, but you just got to proceed with faith, right? So I'm going to save this. I'm going to put this in a little doggy poop bag. Here's my little hack, actually, whenever I want to keep my paintbrushes moist before I wash them and finish with them. And this goes for even mini rollers and things, or even big rollers, actually. I will put the paintbrush inside one of Maxie's poop bags. Just so the paint doesn't dry out. So in case I need to do any little touch-ups or anything with the blue later on, I still have the paintbrush to do that. So I think we go in with this fluoro pink color on the main straps, and then I'm feeling like we just go with a little accent color on the toe strap, you know, maybe a yellow or something like that, or purple, we'll see. I'm actually going to go with a smaller brush this time because we need to just do this little strap here. Probably need to be a little bit more careful not to get it outside of the lines this time. Let's start painting the main strap. I'm going to paint the outside bits of this the same color as the toe strap, I think. That might be a nice little nod, nice little way to do it. So I'll definitely need 2 coats. I feel like, why is that not going on quite as opaque as the blue was? Well, the pink is not quite zinging yet. That will definitely need at least 2 coats. And you see what I mean about touch-ups? I managed to get a little bit on the sole. Not that they're going to see anyway, my foot's going to cover that, so I'm not too worried about it. After this second coat, that is the difference. It's looking a little bit more pink. Still not quite there yet. It's not quite as punchy as I would like. So I guess it might need a 3rd coat, or we'll just have to go with the lighter pink, I think, after this. All right, I've come to my senses. I've changed out of my dress because I just thought, I'm tempting fate here. If I get a big paint splodge on my gorgeous dress, I think I will probably cry. So I've just got into my grubby painting top. Right, let us go in now with the brighter pink because I am not really liking how this darker pink has come out. I just don't think it's doing the job. So let's go in for coat number 3 with the lighter pink. I just feel like the consistency of that other pink paint wasn't quite the same as the blue. The blue just went on so nice and thick, and this darker pink one just went on like it was watered down somehow. So that's the lighter pink. I think we're just going to have to roll with that because that darker pink was just not doing anything. Already that is going on so much better. We'll definitely need 2 coats as well, but that's definitely looking more promising. Yeah, see? Now we're talking. It's a bit of a brighter pink than I was aiming for, but it looks so much better. Maybe next time I will have to put a coat of white before I do that darker pink. Maybe that's what it needs. But anyway, let's just carry on then doing the other side here. So at the end of the second coat of pink, this is what we are looking like. A lot better. While the second coat of pink is drying, I think I will go ahead and put the finisher on the blue layer so that that can dry. I'm going to assume that this has a matte finish. I'd rather it have a matte finish and not a gloss. I do want to put the toe strap and the 2 little circles in a metallic green. I think that would look amazing. But once you have all the paint finished, before I crack on with the metal leaf, because that is a whole other process and it would be good to just have all the painted bits actually finished before that. Let me just go ahead and start coating just the blue sole. I've done 1 coat of varnish on the blue section, the sole. The pink, is it even touch dry yet? Should I wait for that to dry before we go in with the varnish on that? Or should we just go for it? impatient. Probably should wait, but are we going to? No. As usual, we're just going to dive right in. Consequences be damned. Because in actual fact, I think I do want to put 2 coats of varnish. So I'll just do 1 coat of all the painted areas for now. And then I will let that dry and then do a 2nd coat afterwards. Okay, we've got 1 coat of varnish on each sandal. So I will leave it there because I need to get ready for my meeting now. So I'm going to get back into my dress and I'm going to head off for my coffee date. Here we go for day 2 working on this little sandal glow up project. This is what we are looking like after day 1. I have just done 1 coat of the paint finisher, which might be just some level of varnish or something, just some sort of sealer, some top coat, which is, yeah, it's nice. It's not too glossy. I might have preferred it even slightly more matte than this, so I might have to source myself more of a matte varnish, but still, not going to complain. What I'm going to do today is just finish off doing the toe strap and the 2 little buttons here, and then also just go around the edge of the sandal, capturing this little flap here as well. I thought I would do that in this beautiful green metal leaf. Let's show it to Instagram. Because I just think the little pop metallics will just lift this to the next level. So I am going to start by, I haven't even prepped yet, I am going to have to paint some adhesive onto those areas here. I'm going to need to let that dry so it gets all tacky, and then I can apply the metal leaf. I have the whole video tutorial showing the metal leaf application process in detail on my Buy Me a Coffee page. You can buy that as a separate detailed step-by-step tutorial. I will link it in the video description if you're interested in learning about that specific technique a little bit more. I am just going to put a little bit of the adhesive, if I can open it, into this little plastic lid. We don't need a huge amount because we're only covering a small area. I'm going to use the smaller of the brushes. I just need to be careful on this bit in particular, I think, because I don't want the adhesive to go onto the pink areas because then the metal leaf will stick to it. But let's start with the toe straps. That should be relatively quick and easy to do. I'm just going to apply the adhesive with a paintbrush onto the toe strap. Probably just get it around the sides as well. I won't go all on the inside because it doesn't matter, you won't see that, but certainly just on the sides like here. I'll just coat that in the adhesive as well so the metal foil will take there, hopefully. I'm hoping I could just get away with 1 coating of the metal foil. I feel like I need to just mask around the little circles at the bottom because the risk of getting the adhesive onto the pink area underneath it is very, very high, and it would just be annoying if that happened. Instead of using masking tape, because this surface still feels quite tacky and I don't know if the masking tape will end up just ruining the varnish or something, so I've just got these really miniature little sticky note things and I'm just tearing off little bits of this paper and I'm just wedging it underneath the circles because they're leather pieces that sit just on top of the strap, so I can just about sort of wiggle these bits of paper underneath just to create a bit of a masking situation here. So that's what we have. And now I can go in with the size with wild abandon because I also want to try and get it around the edges on the side as well, not just the top. So in order to do that, I really need to get the paintbrush in there. And now for one of the slightly trickier bits, which is applying the size around here. I'm just going to try and be as precise as I can in the application of it because I'm not masking off around the top. Now I've come around to the little flappy bit. I'm just coating that and the little sole as well with the adhesive. It's quite meditative actually, this painting. I could quite get into this. Okay, so that is the size applied on one of the sandals all the way around. I'm now going to do the other side. We will leave it to dry a little bit and then we will come back and apply the metal leaf. Okay, the adhesive is nice and clear. I think we are good to go now applying the metal leaf. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to take 1 of the sheets. Let's see where we start. I could probably cut this one in half because we don't need a whole one. We're just doing small sections along the top. Let's cut that one in half. Now the varnish on the paint still feels quite tacky, so I'm hoping the foils are not going to stick to the painted areas. So that's the first bit done. Let's start doing the sides. Oh, that's going to look so good. Now comes the slightly messy part, and I'll just put a mask on because I am not trying to inhale all of these flakes into my lungs. So I'm just going to brush all these little flakes off with a dry brush. I am just a little bit worried about whether the foil is going to come off the painted bits because it was still feeling a little bit tacky. I mean, really, I probably should have let that painted bit dry a little bit more because Unfortunately, it looks like the foil has stuck to some of the painted areas, which is annoying. I might just have to go over that again with the paint, extending the process of this even further. But anyways, live and learn. And now I'm just gently peeling all these little bits of paper away from this section here. But yes, unfortunately, I am going to have to go again with the paint, both the blue and the pink, which is a bit annoying, but there we are. All right, well, back to square one. We're going to give the blue and pink painted areas one last coat because our foil has stuck to them. We are just going to touch up one more coat of the painted areas, and then we will just seal the whole thing. I think we'll just seal everything, one coat of varnish at the end. But I have to say, I am loving the color combo. I think the pink and the blue and the metallic green are just magnifique. Yeah, so I think next time what I would have to do is either wait longer for the paint to dry or varnish or whatever. I probably wouldn't even bother putting a coat of varnish on the painted areas first, to be honest. If I was doing a combination of paint and foils next time, I would do the painted areas. I would let that dry completely so that it's not at all tacky anymore. And then I would apply the gold foils, or it makes sense to apply the foils first. Maybe I'd apply the foils first actually, and then do the painting. Good old trial and error, eh? And now we are finally ready for the last stage of this, which is to apply a top coat. I'm not going to use the acrylic finisher that I used the first time that came with this painting kit because I just thought it took a bit long to dry. It just still felt very tacky even after being left overnight. So I'm going to use, it's actually just a floor varnish. This is a floor varnish that we got when we stained the wood on our stairs. And it's just a satin finish because the only other varnish I have to hand is a gloss finish, which is good for the metal leaf, but obviously I don't really want glossy bits on the painted bits. So I am just going to give everything a coat of this varnish, and then I will go over everything with a second coat. Just gonna liberally just apply this varnish over the paint and also over all the metal leaf areas. It says touch dry in an hour. A second coat can be applied in 2 hours. I'll probably just leave it overnight, or maybe I'll come back later on tonight and then apply the second coat. And then I think we'll just call this glow up project done. The second coat of varnish has now dried, so we are ready for the final reveal of our glowed up sandals. Yeah, I love the colorways. I absolutely love the colors. The turquoise, the pink, and the green. I just think that little pop of metallic is just super duper duper cute. If there was one thing I probably would do next time, it would be painting the outside of this in the same color as the sole. But anyway, I think it looks great with the dress. A close-up view of the sandals. This is what we are looking like from the top, from the side, and from the bottom, which is not the neatest. I didn't mask around the edges, so we've just got a little overspill there, but not too concerned about that. But there you go. Those are our finished, glowed up Indian chappals. All right, let's go in for a little try on of the sandals and see what they look like on the body. Ta-da! I have to say, I don't think they're the most comfortable sandals in the world. I mean, I probably should have tried them on before the glow up, just to compare the comfort before and after. I mean, these Chappal sandals, they can take a little bit of breaking in, I'll be honest. But because I ended up doing about 6 coats of paint on the pink and 4 or 5 coats on the blue, I don't know if that has maybe affected how soft and how pliable the leather is. Yeah, that's gonna need some breaking in. It's quite hurty just here by the toe. But anyway, they look nice. If that is any consolation. So yeah, that is our glow up project for today. I hope that inspires you to see what is possible in glowing up the unwanted and unloved sandals in your wardrobe just by using some leather paints and some metal leaf foils. I hope you enjoy this project. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.